Hey friends, thanks for coming back to my channel. Normally I'm sharing art and different tips and techniques that I've learned. But I realized as a speech therapist or speech language therapist that's worked in the schools for 30 years that I want to share the 3 secrets to raising reading scores. Which is not just, we're not all about scores. Actually, it's more about helping others or ourselves to become better readers. There goes my cat. Okay, this is for everyone's age, but if you're a parent and you want to help your child become a better reader, honestly, it does not matter about the book you choose. And preferably, I would allow them to choose a book that they like. And we need to do this several times. You might set a time in the evening. But what you're going to do is, I wrote a little note to my grandson. I guess he didn't take it home. Of course, this is Cat in the Hat, which is kind of fun because of all the crazy stuff that happens. But you're going to read. You might read one page, let them read another page. If they're not to that level, just read it. Then, okay, the key is you're going to discuss it. Rather than asking them questions, you're going to talk about what you just read. Because the process of talking and retelling that story helps to solidify that in your brain, and it builds your confidence. So, even if you just have, say, 10 minutes in the evening, and you only get to read half of the book, no worries. That's one step forward. So, when you come back to the book and you open it, you are going to begin as the adult to retell the story. And you're going to go, oh, wow, now how did it start? Let me think. Sometimes your child's going to just start chiming in, which is really awesome. And you go, that's a good memory. Great. Just very positive. Then after a while, you're going to start requesting your child to retell the story. And when they get stuck on things, you're going to fill that in and say no worries and just be very positive. I found one of the problems with the school is that their students would be requested to read a passage, and then they're given a short quiz, maybe that has 3 choices for every question. That can be so discouraging for our struggling readers. But now I want to kind of shift gears, because you can do that. Set a time every evening, or let's say 3 evenings a week. Whatever you do is going to help them. Make sure they have the opportunity to talk about it, because it accesses another portion of the brain and helps them to recall. So much about reading is learning how to stay focused and recall what you read. Okay, this was a pretty cool book. I've got shelves and shelves of them. But I thought I would just talk about a couple of things, maybe for junior high students. And you're like, I wish my scores were higher when I'm tested. Or you find yourself kind of drifting off when you're reading and you're thinking, I don't know what I just read. Don't worry. That happens to everyone. Some people it does happen to a little more frequently. What you need to do as a junior high student, or maybe I would say you can start in the 4th grade. It's good to read with parents, but sometimes they're busy. Just go ahead, read a page or 2, and say, hey, mom and dad, or mom or dad, or older brother, and anybody, grandparents, say, I'm working on reading. Can you listen to me tell you about what I'm reading about? At first, you may not be able to recall much, and Don't worry about it. That's going to happen. If you want to reread that section, that's fine. Now, this book is probably a little advanced, but that's okay. We found as we're going along that it's fantastic to get something that's challenging. No worries. Okay, so this one's maybe for young adults. And your scores for college are not as great as you hoped. Or maybe you're wanting to get into grad school and your GED is a little lacking. So what you want to do that's a proven beneficial, it's going to be the very same thing, but you're going to dedicate yourself to reading. You'll set up a certain time. Find a person that you can retell your story to. If you are unable to do that, say you're in college and your roommates are busy and you really don't want to put them out, go ahead and write in your journal and retell the story in your own words and just give a brief description of that. And I guarantee you it will work. When you get a chance to talk to anybody, when you call home, say, hey, I'm reading this cool book, you know what it's about, and then tell them a little bit about it, because parents love to hear whatever you're doing. Okay, I've just got a few I was going to show you. I thought that one was really incredible for women. This one's very powerful. This one is a tradition, East of Eden, and it is quite a book, let me tell you. I would probably recommend something more on the lines of John Grisham, but this is a classic. It's got tons of details. It's a lot of fun. You could easily get lost, so make sure you journal or talk to somebody, because, like I said, that solidifies your reading ability and helps you grow as a reader. The more you do it, the more you recall, the more you talk about it or write it in your journal, the stronger you're going to get. Now, when you run into any vocabulary that you don't know, look it up, write it down. Challenge yourself to put it in a sentence and go back and look at it. These are more for young adults. For little ones, when they see a word they're not sure about, just talk about that word and throw it in a sentence, and you could even say, would you like to put it in a sentence? But don't pressure them. They get so much pressure anyway that they get discouraged so often and think they can't read. But tell them they can, and you'll practice. Okay, here's another one that I enjoyed. I've got tons of books that I've enjoyed, and throughout that process, obviously, I've become a very good reader, and it's something that I've done most of my life. It's good to do right before bed, a way to invest in yourself. So, good luck. Let's see, what are those 3 secrets? Can you help me remember? Might be a good time to just review in your mind. What was it? We need to set a designated time that's repetitive, even if it's just 3 days a week. You put it on your calendar. It's one of those goals you're going to check off because you're going to get there. Say, maybe I just have 15 minutes, or maybe I just have 20 minutes, but you can use that time wisely. It's going to help you, okay? So after that section of reading, you want to retell it. Remember, I talked to you about how you can solidify and strengthen your ability to read by speaking. It's another section of the brain, and it clicks. There are other sections of the brain that also, like if you draw, you let kids kind of draw some things about the story. That's another section that really helps. Adding music to it is phenomenal, but I'll tell you, it's hard to come up with music all the time. And that's okay too. But if you can add that in somehow, it's one of the fastest ways to build skills. So we've got setting aside the time, reading, and then the third one is retelling it in some manner to someone. with adults and your children. You begin retelling it, they're going to get into that habit. Probably about the 6th or 7th page, they're going to want to start retelling, and allow them to do it rather than pressuring them and asking questions. Thanks. I'll give more tips as we go, but it's something that I've been dedicated to my life. And I did the same thing with my son in 3rd grade. He liked Goosebumps books, so I allowed him to choose Goosebumps. It wouldn't have been my preference, but we took the time. He was a decent reader, but we wanted to bump it up a little bit. He was not thrilled with it at first, but I let him know that it's one thing that we're going to do every evening. I really explained it to him, and he was compliant. After we got going, probably by the 2nd chapter, he loved it. He enjoyed visiting about it. He enjoyed retelling it. We could talk about what kinds of conflicts are coming up and make guesses about what we're going to find out in the next chapter. And it was just a great experience. It's a great time to build your relationship with them as well. My son became a top reader. They collect AR points, and he wound up in junior high with the highest. That's accelerated reader points of everyone in the school. And I think that had 4 different grades with a ton of students in every class. So I've been very proud of him. He's an excellent reader. He feels confident. I know what we did works. We only needed to do it for 1 book, and that's all. I kind of missed it when we were done, and he felt so confident. But I knew we were there. So occasionally we'd read a little bit and discuss something, but he was well on his way by the end. So I just wanted to tell you, good luck. You can do it. I promise you can. There's only 3 secrets. And let me know in the comments how it's going, and I'll respond. Any questions? I would love to answer any questions. Please like and share, subscribe to my channel. And you'll have more tips soon. All right. Love you guys, and it's going to work, okay? Bye-bye.